popping. We're going to start off with right here, AJ. This is Thrill and Agony. We have something that we need to talk about really quickly before I start like describing this photo, man. This is something that we saw. It made the headlines. Justin James, man, the Guitar Hero, a crowd favorite to some. You know what I mean? This dude came out. He made his name during the pandemic at Fight Island and stuff like that with a big TK over Frank Camacho. And he's been on a recent slump. I think he's dropped 2 in a row and said, you know what? Me and my coaches were betting our entire fight purse on me winning, and he lost. So it was like, yo, you love the confidence. You love the confidence. But this photo right here kind of sums it up. The fight at least went down to a split decision. It was a close fight. I do think the right person won in this contest. However, listen, man, what it comes down to is that a wise move? Before we even break down the photo, is that a wise move to have that much confidence in yourself when you're fighting a dude who is very, very experienced, very skilled, and you probably don't have the means and the funds to be betting that money, you know, because if you lose, it's all bad. If you win, it's all great. You got to risk it to get the biscuit, but it didn't pan out this time. So what do you think, AJ?
I agree, Derek. You got to risk it to get the biscuit, and I love the confidence. 100% love the confidence. But my dad taught me one thing when he said, when I was telling him I'm about to go out, go gambling a little bit. He said, don't bet your rent money. Never bet your rent money.
Yep.
You got money to spend, all right, whatever, do your thing. But man, risking your whole purse, if you got the funds, all right, cool, whatever. But that's a hell of a risk. And unfortunately, not only did he lose, but his whole camp lost because you know they didn't get the money off of that either. So it's a risk. I love it. I love the risk, but man, it even hurts even worse that it's a split decision loss because you had a little glimpse of I might have won, and then I agree though. I agree. Justin James definitely Charles Hossa definitely got the right nod.
Yeah, absolutely. What it came down to is that James finally had that moment of like light at the end of the tunnel. He had Rosa hurt at the end of the third and then decided to try to submit a Brazilian black belt. And it's just everyone was just like, no, even Daniel Cormier was like, no, don't do the takedown. Don't do the takedown. And they say when you got a wrestler telling you not to take somebody down, you know you fucked up. You know you're not doing the right thing. Listen, I don't want to, now that all the jokes aside, I don't want to, kick a man while he's down. But this is a prime example. You know what I'm saying? Don't gamble. Don't risk money that you cannot afford to lose. Who's to say? Let's say this man's probably sitting pretty, got some good investments and stuff going on. Who's to say? We don't know anything. But the photo, folks, for those who are just listening, is Charles Rosa jumping up an American flag, celebrating his victory, while Justin James, it was that split moment of when they said, "Ch." For Charles, and I think he thought they were going to say like Justin, right? And he did like, and then it was like, oh, god damn. And that broke my heart, bro. That broke my heart because you saw it. Like this dude was hoping so bad, praying to the almighty, like, hey, please, 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 let me get the win. Didn't pan out. That's the fight game, aka the hurt game. But let's move on to the next photo, AJ. I have to ask you this question. This is a photo that took place during the Andre Fili versus Daniel Pineda contest. And I want to ask you, the dude right here who you see got the gloves on, got the glasses on, looks like a doctor to me, but it seemed like he was a referee in there. You know what I'm saying? He was dictating the shots. Is this a doctor or a ref? What do you think about this, AJ?
I think it was a couple, 4 or 5 episodes back where I was saying, that the doctors, it's good that he came in there and, stopped the fight and all that stuff. And this eye poke situation, there's 2 fights where there was 2 pretty severe eye pokes in this one. And I kind of agree with this one because Daniel Pineda literally could not open up his eye and he was just guessing. He was literally just guessing. How many fingers I got? 3. He's like, it's just holding up 1. It's just like, it was bad to see. So this one, I think this one played it off a little bit better, to be honest with you. I'm glad this one, protected some people's eyes, but he was definitely a little more, held a little more weight in the octagon than a lot of other people would have liked to see, So it's a weird concept, but what do you think?
Well, I agree with you, man. I do think that at the end of the day, when you're just guessing, and I think he had the interview with Daniel Cormier, and he was like, I could see, it's no problem. Daniel Cormier's like, well, you're literally have your eyes closed talking to me right now, so I don't think you can see, dog, So I think that Daniel Pineda was too tough for his own good, so it's good that the doctor, right, that he stepped in and called it quits. However, the judging is the thing that we need to talk about, and we'll talk about it a little bit later, man, but it got ruled a no contest because the fight wasn't long enough. I think it didn't reach the halfway point, but the thing is, Andre Fili was dominating the fight. So instead of it being ruled a technical decision, and let's just score whoever was winning the fight, neither of these dudes get their second check. it's just a terrible situation for everybody. And it goes to show why the, two-check system might not be the best system in MMA. But interesting, man. Interesting stuff right there. Now, this is the photo that was after this. Now, that's Andre Fili staring at a box of pizza. That's probably, see, you go from expecting 3 checks, right? You get your show money, your win money, and a bonus on top to, well, I got my show money, and this is all I can afford is some fucking pizza. You know what I'm saying? After the fight, man, you balling on a budget at that point. Nah, this is him just enjoying, being able to have some pizza after the fight. But I do think it was a little bit of a funny predicament. What do you think about this, AJ?
Yeah, I think it's a funny predicament. I got into this debate over when I went back home and visited some family. We were talking about how UFC fighters need to get paid more, but yet they signed a contract for what it was, even though they signed a contract when they're nobody. So it's a gray area. We obviously want to see them get paid more. You're going in there, you're risking your life, your health, your family, your wealth, all that jazz. But it is funny to see him just staring at that pizza like that's all I can wait to get to. I'm done with this interview. I just want to snatch this up, man. It's been there. If you've been there, you know that feeling, man, where all you want to do is eat. So yeah, it's a funny one.
Absolutely, man. Now this next photo, AJ, I'm gonna have to say that you hit this one on the head, my man. You called this as your sleeper, Jeremiah Wells versus Warlley Alves, man. And the man packs a pop in his punch. You know what I'm saying? This picture right here is literally Warlley Alves sleep before he hits the ground by a huge just hook shot from Jeremiah Wells. This dude is just an absolute ball of muscle. And it was interesting because I didn't know that he trains with Paul Felder. And Paul Felder was saying that the craziness we saw in this matchup was a tame, calm version of Jeremiah Wells, not the thing that you're used to. So just give me your take on this photo. I got another one to complement this one after, but give me your take on this photo.
Yeah, man. No, Paul Felder's right. When I was watching all of his Jeremiah's other fights, he was coming out like a little blitz ball, bro. Crazy. And this one, he's a little more composed, but dude packs a crack, man. It was insane. Yeah, no, this photo, you could just see him literally lights off way before he hit the ground. I don't know exactly when this shot was taken in the punch, but it looked like it just connected. It looks like he's barely hitting him. Full kneel, too. It's crazy. Crazy shot.
Yeah, man. And now Jeremiah Wells, he joins Randy Brown and James Krause as the only men to finish Warlley Alves, man. Very, very durable. So super, super impressive, man. But this next photo, I just have to say, have you ever seen someone more jubilant to see their first UFC debut win? You know what I'm saying? That is the look of a fucking madman. That's the look of someone who I would not want to fight. You know what I'm saying? I bet you a lot of people in the division don't want to fight that man either after seeing what he just did. What do you think?
They say the haka is one of the most intimidating forms of pre-show, I guess, showboating or whatever that you would count that as. But I see this man coming at me like this, brother, and I don't want to fight either. Imagine him in some more pain, just screaming at you. Ah, yeah, that's quite a picture right there.
Absolutely. It reminds me of when Shane Young did the haka in his, it was like the weigh-ins, right? And he proceeded to lose like 3 fights in a row after that. So sometimes it'll do good for you. Sometimes not the best luck, man. This next picture that I got right here, this is Yancy Medeiros versus Dimir Hadzevik. And this is a fight that Hadzevik won. He put a beating on Medeiros, man. This dude has an iron chin. But this is in the last moments of the fight where Medeiros was moments away from potentially getting that rear naked choke. You can see it's not all the way under the chin, but it looks tight. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those things where I just have to say, like, as a fighter, do you look back on this? Obviously neither of us are fighters, but just give me your interpretation, a thought experiment. As a fighter, you're seconds away. You have it right there. It's kind of like Dustin Poirier when he almost had Khabib in that guillotine. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you think that this is a moment they're going to remember for the rest of their life?
Oh yeah, it has to be. I mean, it's one of those weird ones where it's either you remember it for the rest of your whole life because it's a great experience, or you remember it for your whole life because it's a horrible experience, And you're always thinking back to that one spot of like, did it slip under? Did it slip under? Like, could I have just turned a little ways? It's always what's this old saying? 2020 or
hindsight's 2020.
Yeah, there you go. Hindsight is 2020, and you're always playing that revisionist history in your mind, man. Yeah, that's a hard one.
even Dustin Poirier, when he gets asked about it, he talks about it from time to time. He was like, if there's one thing I wish I could have did different is like maybe get hooks in when I had Habib in that, you know what I'm saying, guillotine. So it's one of those things that's always going to be there in the back of your mind. Now, but this next photo, man, this is interesting because we have a Marcin Prachnio with a walk-off liver-snatching giga kick. Now, this is, man, isn't Georgian, but he's Polish, and it's damn near close enough, man. Those cats don't play with them kicks. Ike Villanueva, man, fan favorite over here, man. Stand-up cat, solid boxer. But listen, man, he switched over, and I think that Prachnio's corner called out, like, hey, southpaw. Next thing you know, body kick. And it was one of those where, listen, I can't say I've ever experienced anything like that, where you're rolling around on the ground withering in pain because your body shut down because your liver is just destroyed. You know, just give me your take on this, man.
I've eaten a couple liver shots, my man, and that, and when you get hit in the sternum and lose all your breath and can't breathe, those are some of the weirdest ones because you're awake, your full consciousness is going, man, and you're thinking all these thoughts, but it is just the most excruciating pain. You could even see Ike just. It's a hard one, man. All your body wants to do is just cave in on itself, and you feel like you're dying, but you're conscious for it. So I'd almost rather get knocked out, you know?
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've definitely experienced that sternum shot, man, and that is no joke because, you know, you just sitting there like, you feel me? And you can only imagine with the liver what it does to you, man. But this next photo, man, this is one of my sleepers. I'd have to say, AJ, we did really well on our sleepers. I think we had almost all finishes, if not all finishes, on the sleepers. But this is the Raging Panda, man, and she's doing something. The only reason I picked this photo is because she submitted the individual who was supposed to be the one submitting somebody, right? Julia Stoliarenko is the armbar queen, right? And Raging Panda kicked her in the face, took her back, choked her out, got the job done, man. Very impressive showing for Julia Avila, who was crying in her post-show conference because of all the adversity she suffered. She lost her job. She got kicked out of her gym, all that craziness. And she's now saying, like, listen, man, I think she's a dark horse in the bantamweight division. So that's really all I got on the picture. You got anything to say on that one?
No, I agree. I'm excited to see where she comes up, man, because it's the hardest ones when you're fighting for actually something, you know. So yeah. All her past, it's gonna be good for her. We'll see what happens in the future, though.
Absolutely. So that wraps up our UFC photos. Now I just got a couple, other promotions I want to talk about very quickly. This is a photo, man. This is PFL. This is Anthony Pettis, man. Showtime, and this is. Listen, this is the result of going 0-2 in the PFL after, you know, kind of saying, like, I don't really want to renew in the UFC. I don't know if he had a choice, but he kind of made it seem like, hey, man, you know, I think I'd rather part ways with the UFC. I think that I'd be able to do really well in this, you know, tournament type system. It's really a season in PFL and win the $1 million prize. And now he didn't even make the playoffs and he's out. So he's going to have to wait until next year or the next PFL season or whatever. But just give me your take on that, man. Is this say more about Anthony Pettis or does this say something about the UFC?
I think it says more a little bit about Pettis, you know, because he has Sergio Pettis is fighting out of where again?
Well, this is Anthony Pettis, but Sergio.
No, I know, but his brother.
Where is he fighting out of? I don't know where he's fighting out of, to be honest with you.
I think he's fighting out of another small division as well, another smaller, organization. He's not fighting. Neither of these guys are in the UFC.
Bellator. Sir, I thought you meant camp. My bad. Yeah, he's fighting in Bellator. He's the Bellator bantamweight champion. Sergio Pettis is.
Yeah. Yeah, so still, you know, bantamweight champion, doing well, but to see the older brother Anthony Pettis come and have such high highs and then now back down to his low lows, man, it's rough to see, especially looking at this photo where he's all lumped up. You know, this dude has been through some wars, and to speak on, you know, like Anthony Pettis kind of just falling down, you know, his fall from grace. It's hard to see as a fan, especially, you know, growing up when you're watching Showtime kicks happen all the time. It's almost heartbreaking, brother. I'd rather see him retire on top, become a coach or something like that, than see him, you know, end up like Chuck Liddell.
Yeah, man. I think he still got it. I think he absolutely still got it, man. But it's just tough to see something like this. But one thing is for sure, he's a UFC champion, man. You can never take that away from him. He's been at the top of the top. So with that being said, man, I think that get a couple more wins under his belt, be a supporting system for his brother. It's really his brother's time to shine at this point. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, tough to see. Now this next photo is I brought this up because one, this is very similar to the result of the Kanako Murata fight that just happened versus Vina Jandiroba, right? This is Liz Carmouche facing off against Kana Watanabe. And last time that we covered a Bellator event here on this show, right, we actually covered Watanabe's fight against, I forget her name, but she ended up being one of your favorite prospects coming out of that matchup. Listen, man, this is what I have to say about this. The reason why I brought this up is because the ageless Liz Carmouche, who has wins over Valentina Shevchenko, you know, Caitlin Chukagian, Lauren Murphy, you know, lost to Ronda Rousey, she's an OG UFC cat, right, in Bellator now. She steamrolled, walked through Watanabe. And I just have to say this before you give me a reaction, AJ. These judokas who are so Olympic level, high level gold medalists, right, like a Murata or like a Watanabe, you gotta sharpen up the hands, man. We know you nice with the judo. We know you nice with the wrestling and the throws, but you got to be able to at least mix in some head movement or something, because this, believe it or not, this was the first loss of Watanabe's career. And she just got blitzed through with straight punches. That was it. It was very short. It was very fast. And I was just a little disappointed because, like, I'm so high on these judokas, man. They're so legit. Like a Kayla Harrison, at least she got some of that, you know, those hands, that head movement, some of that, and she's the judoka. But with that being said, give me your take, AJ.
Well, it's crazy to see that in some aspects, like let's take a Khabib or even any other very proficient wrestler who's able to, or any of the Brazilians we talk about, where they're so good on the ground that they don't care to let those hands swing. Same thing with Khabib. He was able to drop Conor either in the second or the third because Conor was so worried about the takedown. Whereas you see in this, it doesn't really play out the same way, where their judoka is so strong that they're able to not worry about anything else. Like it's crazy to see that in the women's and the men's division. In the women's, you really need to be a lot more well-rounded. Yeah. You can't just have that specific focus and dig deep and kind of bank on that. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy to see, because she did get steamrolled. And you can even see on the pop, her arms isn't even close to extending, and she's already snapping her head back. So yeah, it's a crazy one. It's weird how the styles, or like I said, the specifics don't cross genders. It's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting, man. But hey, the ageless Liz Carmouche is probably going to be fighting for a title here soon after this very, very impressive win. Last photo that I got here, AJ, and this is just Kayla Harrison. She's being compared now. She's saying, like, or people are saying that Kayla Harrison is like Ronda Rousey 6.0. This is like what Ronda Rousey should have been or could have been. Obviously, Ronda Rousey's a pioneer. She was the first person to really blow up women's MMA, right? But Kayla Harrison, man, she's just steamrolling her opponents. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I don't even know the name of this opponent. She just kind of ran through somebody who is not the same caliber of level that Kayla Harrison is, but she's very much on her way to. She's not the number 1 seed in the PFL right now. She's like the number 2 seed or whatever, but she's very much on her way to getting $1 million goddamn dollars. You know what I'm saying, over there in the PFL. Very impressive. When's the last time we've seen a woman fighter, a female fighter, just steamroll opponents in this caliber? Amanda Nunes is knocking you out on the feet. Valentina Shevchenko is technical. She's going through a lot of decisions. Kayla Harrison puts you on the ground and smashes your face in. And she ended up winning this fight via submission. She hyperextended the girl's arm, damn near broke her arm. But yeah, just what do you think?
I think the only closest one is Valentina Shevchenko whenever she's fighting as the mean bullet. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. In the last 2 or 3 where we've seen her, she'll literally just put it to the girls, put them down in the crucifix and beat them up. Oh, yeah. But other than that, you don't really see it. You really see in the women's divisions a lot more technical striking. That leads to the point of what I just said, where you need to be a lot more well-rounded. Yeah. But man, Kayla Harrison just absolutely putting it to girls, man. It's good to see. It makes me happy for the future of the women's divisions.
I do think it's great. I do think she's going to need to move down to 145 if she wants any competition, because fighting at 155, who is there? Like, UFC doesn't have any 155ers. Bellator doesn't have 155ers. Slim pickings over there, man. But all right, that's the photos. Best photos of the weekend, man.